Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Paul Pajo, co founder of Smart DevNet, Begin Consulting, and Shroomhouse Productions, and I will be today's panel moderator. Welcome to Philippine Startup Week and Draper Startup House Manila's event, launching and scaling your virtual food venture. Draper Startup House is a global community with a mission to enable 1 million entrepreneurs by 2030. With 16 locations and counting, their international hostels provide opportunities for startups and entrepreneurs to connect and network as well as get the support they need from incubation to funding and scaling. So today, we're joined by our panelists from different industries: F&B, e-commerce, delivery, tech, and investment to see how food creators and entrepreneurs can redefine opportunity to innovative virtual experiences. Before we get started, let me briefly introduce you to today's panelists. First up, we have Dennis Velasco, founder and CEO of Prosperna, with the mission to empower 100,000 SMEs in the Philippines with easy to use and affordable e commerce software. Hi, Dennis.
Hey, Paul, great to be here. And what an exciting event that we've got. So, this is going to be cool.
Yep. Next, we have Dana Maharakon, Managing Director of Lalamove Philippines, a 24/7 on demand delivery app that seamlessly connects users and drivers around the world to move things that matter. Hi, Dana.
Hi, Paul. Hey, Dennis. It's good to be here today. Thank you so much for having us.
Nadim Muzayin is also here from DSG Consumer Partners. Nadim is an associate at DSG and helps manage portfolio companies in Singapore, Indonesia, and the UK. Hi, Nadim.
Hey, Paul. Hey, everyone. Thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Lastly, we have Draper Startup House Manila's founder, Christian Munoz, for Public House. Draper Startup House Manila's food and beverage arm. Public House is a shared
Hey,
kitchen,
Paul. Thank
incubator,
you. Hi, everybody.
and
Very
event
excited to be
space.
here, and yeah, let's get this started.
Yeah. Hi, Christian. Right. So thanks so much for everyone joining us today. With the different sectors being represented today, this panel discussion will definitely be insightful and helpful to our attendees. Okay, now that we've introduced everyone, let's begin today's discussion. The pandemic has disrupted the way food businesses have been done with the shift to virtual space and the rise of cloud and ghost kitchens. How can food creators and entrepreneurs adapt to the changes in consumers' evolving needs and ways of food consumption? I'd like to start by asking everyone in the room, in your respective fields, what changes have you observed since the start of the pandemic? Maybe Dana, you want to start?
Sure. I think, everyone that's in this room and everyone that's listening would agree that the pandemic has really disrupted how every single business operates, most especially the F&B sector. Because of the restrictions to mobility, a lot of our F&B entrepreneurs had to shift how they run the business, shifting their operations to move online, downsizing how in-store or in-restaurant operations will be, and finding out creative ways because one of the bigger revenue streams of restaurants are also events. So that was drastically affected as well. Last year, there was a lot of talk about how do we digitalize in the midst of the pandemic? How do we survive against this, right? And we've seen a lot of very interesting developments over the past 19 months now where our food entrepreneurs have started shifting to selling their goods online, have started shifting even virtual events to online as we are doing now. And the rise of cloud kitchens has really grown much bigger. Even prior to 2020, a lot of Filipino entrepreneurs have already started out the concept of cloud kitchens, but I think the pandemic really propelled that. So speaking from the logistics industry, it's extremely important for entrepreneurs not just to prepare the operations of said cloud kitchens to be able to take in the orders, prepare the food, make sure that the experience is just as good as what they would experience in a restaurant, right? But also be able to partner with a reliable delivery service. And this is where companies like Lalamove come in. And what we do is to ensure that we support all of these new businesses to be able to reach their customers and give that full end-to-end food experience become fantastic for them.
Awesome points. Okay. How about you, Christian?
Yeah, I mean, I think, pretty much what Dana said about the digital, right? Like everything moved online. As you know, we obviously there was some movement before the pandemic, but that was a force, an inflection point, and that's what we see at public houses becoming that bridge between the offline and the online. We noticed that a lot of like the food entrepreneurs kind of didn't know how to jump online, right? Like, so we wanted to provide that safe space for them to come and focus on the food side, on the creations, and then we kind of take part of the rest of the equation, right? Like we bring them to the right platforms like Prosperna here, and you know the players for them to really be able to their creations go directly to the consumer, or if it's a B2B play. But yeah, I mean that's the major one that we see. Also, creators economy started booming. We see a lot of like Instagram and Facebook, people just selling online. That's something that, before the pandemic was happening, but it was definitely, we saw a major shift during the pandemic. And that's very exciting for us at Public House because that's kind of like our core, like that mom and pops creators, like, that make this awesome, authentic food, be able to, find a space to launch this. With a lower entry barrier, like obviously, like before, like everybody was thinking, like open a food venture is a restaurant. Maybe right now, like opening a food venture is this virtual restaurant, right, or this virtual brand, or this online store. So I think we've been able to remove some barriers, like mentally as well, for some entrepreneurs, and I think it's very exciting actually on that end. Like we see, or I see more positive things coming up in the future that we consume food.
Good points. Oh, how about since you mentioned Prosperna, might as well go to Dennis.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. So, what we're seeing are really three major shifts in the last 12, 18 months in the F&B industry. First of all, I think it's clear that we need to recognize that, the F&B industry was absolutely, disrupted, and measurably, there was 70% plus decline in foot traffic and dine-in type of venues. Now, while that might seem, kind of doom and gloom, I think there's a huge upside to that, because if you look at just the second half of 2020, almost 80,000 new businesses were registered online through DTI, and clearly the number one vertical was the F&B industry. Right now, along that major point, I think there's another thing for the entire F&B industry to recognize. Right, the average age of the Philippines is 25 years old. Right now, I'm not sure of everybody here who fits in that average, but let's just call that part of the statistics. Now, the interesting thing about that demographic is, guess what, Paul? 82% of that demographic prefers to shop online, right? And so that's another major shift and trend that measurably is happening all around the Philippine F&B industry. The last thing I want to point out when it comes to that shift is, when we look at how and research how e-commerce regions and sectors evolve, right? Marketplaces certainly make it fast for F&B industries and brands to accelerate. But what you start to see is this massive trend, and it's at a minimum a 21%, growth trend of customers preferring to buy direct from those brands. And I think that's what, Christian had mentioned. And a lot of it has to do, if you look at it really simply, it has to do with just all of us being consumers and wanting to trust, who we buy from. And when we see something online and we buy it, especially because it's food and we plan on eating and entertaining with it, we want to make sure that what we buy is what we get, right? So anyway, just a few things that seem to pop up in my mind.
Well, thanks for that. So let's ask Nadim now to validate what you're seeing on the market side. Is the same thing happening on the investment side, Nadim?
Yeah, absolutely. No, thanks for sharing that, guys. And maybe just taking a step back and giving a perspective of what we do at DSG, right? We back brands here in Southeast Asia, mainly brands that are actually off that sell off trade or even in F&B channels, right? So, supermarkets, etc. So, and what we do focus on is the premium segment. So what we realize post COVID, right? I think Southeast Asia added roughly 70 million online customers during COVID, which is a staggering number, right? And a lot of these customers do want their premium brands at home, and they want the experience brought to their doorstep, right? So what we realized is because we invest in these premium segments and these premium brands, customers they want faster products and they want more quality, higher quality products. And I think Dan at Lala Move can attest to this, but the speed at which customers want their products is increasing drastically pre to post COVID, right? So not only do customers want better products and their premium products and experiences at home, but they also want them faster, and more convenience, right? So what we've seen on the third-party market or third-party application platforms like GrabMart, FoodMart, Delivermart is this huge shift from supermarkets in Singapore, for example, like cold storage, to shop fronts on your third-party delivery apps, right? And these shop fronts help build, higher quality brand presence and the premiumness of the brands across the category. So that's what we've seen from the shift from off trade to specifically third-party delivery apps, and the presence of the shop front on those apps as well.
Great insights, everyone. So the F&B landscape is definitely changing, and we're shifting towards a new food revolution. In fact, two-thirds of businesses have adopted or increased use of internet, social media, specialized applications, and digital platforms in various business tasks. With these businesses reporting that digital solutions accounted for 10% of their sales, in response to COVID-19, the use of digital solutions has also increased across all company sizes, sectors, and locations. We are definitely shifting to a new revolution. Compared to the traditional physical kitchen space and brick and mortar restaurants, virtual restaurants have a low barrier to entry, as Christian alluded to, making setup faster and easier. So, Christian, for our food entrepreneurs in attendance, why should they be considering a virtual brand for their business, and what are the benefits?
Yeah, I think one of, like, as entrepreneurs, like, we sometimes, like, struggle a lot in the beginning to start our ventures. I think the food industry is one of those that has, like, very high barriers, right? Like, as I mentioned early on. So definitely, like, the online space to me is, like, very exciting one, because you can try and iterate a lot of things as it goes, right? Like, you can throw new brands, new ideas, like new concepts, and just see, what the market says back to you, right? Like, it's just very affordable, like, very easy to launch. Like, you can try, get a lot of feedback. So it's a very interesting space. Like, the way that we see it is, like, at Public House is trying to make this kitchen online. So, like, people are literally, at some point with the tech and that we're building is that literally almost cooking from your phone. So basically, when you launch a food venture, like, you check the supply chain in each country or in each market that you want to launch, and you want to make sure if those taco recipes or those things that you want to launch is actually feasible. I think that's the major sort of concern when you want to launch something internationally without being there, like, physically. So yeah, I mean, virtually you can play a lot more than right in real person and being there, like, cooking and setting up a team. Right now, there's a lot of, like, third-party providers that are making it easier. There still needs to be some improvements there, like the cloud kitchen, ghost kitchen space is growing. The US, we're seeing also, like, an interesting franchising sort of model, sort of like Uber for kitchens, like matching, like, food entrepreneurs, right, like, with unutilized spaces. So this trend is going to keep going in that direction, and it's just, like, very exciting to just be able to you know put your recipes, like, your friends or your family, your culture, right, authentic products. I was talking, like, last week with Dennis about, like, how at this point we're seeing a little bit of the food as commodities, and, like, I think with this democratization of having access or more access via this online world, like be able to just don't sell burgers and fried chicken online, but be able to like do something a bit more authentic and more exciting in the future of like online distribution and production.
Awesome, Christian. I'm sure our attendees can't wait to launch their virtual brand soon, knowing Public House is there to help them.
Mhm.
So moving on, how can we redefine opportunity in the virtual space? For you, Dennis, in the space of e-commerce, what opportunities do you think virtual food brands in the Philippines have?
Yeah, great question. And I think that's really where all the opportunity is. You know, sadly, there's still a number of companies who have not yet really found their place when it comes to their online presence. And to me, that's the big opportunity for these new F&B brands, right? Because I can't think of another population around the world who loves food more than the Philippines, right? And I can tell you firsthand, it feels like, the best recipes come out of our country. It doesn't matter. It doesn't even have to be Filipino food. It just tastes good, right? So imagine if you combine that passion for food, right, and how easy it is these days, how much more affordable it is these days to embrace and adapt technology into the F&B industry. The opportunities in the next 3 to 5, 10 years, I think are huge because we're going to see so many new brands, right? Because it's just faster and easier. That said, I'll be the first one to admit, you know, even though today, in case you didn't see this, guys, we recently launched at Prosperna, a way to make, e-commerce accessible to everyone. So we've created a lifetime free forever plan. But I was going to say that despite having technology be so accessible out there, um, like what Christian is doing, right? You have to also make sure that you've got your process and your people really put together, right? We've seen, for example, one of our customers, Lola Nenas. I'm sure everybody out there has tasted those.
Love
Uh,
Lola Nenas, man. Love those donuts, bro.
yeah, props to them. I don't know what's inside those triple cheese donuts, but they're awesome. So you can imagine they were a traditional kind of Filipino restaurant and bakery and then some, right? Kind of business before. But if you look at their menu today, they've really narrowed their menu down, which I think is actually great for the overall operation, right? They don't have to serve Filipino food, Chinese food, dim sum, pizza, and Filipino spaghetti, right? They've narrowed it down so they've got more of an online F&B experience, and it's made their business a lot more successful and profitable. Just a couple things there.
Awesome, Dennis. Yeah, e-commerce platforms such as yours, Prosperna, are going to be big players for virtual brands in the Philippines. And for those of you who keep thinking there is no forever, there is a lifetime free forever with Prosperna. So there is forever. Just
I
a
love you forever.
lifetime free plan with Prosperna. So check that out. So bold prediction from Euromonitor says global market capitalization for cloud kitchens will go as high as 1 trillion USD by 2030. By 2027, that will be about 201.1 billion. So imagine the jump in 3 years, it's going to be like 5x. So with the rise of new business models such as cloud kitchens, the demand for delivery is continuing to grow at a rapid rate. So then, how can delivery and logistics services such as Lala Move help our food creators scale their operations?
Well, the nice thing about partnering with a delivery platform is that you really only pay every time you use it. So it's
Mhm.
not going to be a fixed expense for you, regardless of your order volume or the volume of the transactions that you get, which makes this very, very appealing for cloud kitchens or online sellers, even because, the appeal of going online is low investment cost for them. They really get to focus on their core, which is creating that beautiful, delicious food, right? And outsourcing even their deliveries to platforms such as Lalamove allows them to continue to fulfill that, where they only really have to focus with ensuring that they provide great quality of food produced in a timely manner, protection of the and ensure the protection of the end-to-end customer experience, again from order taking all the way to delivery to them, by partnering with a reliable delivery partner. And that's exactly what we aspire to do, right? We know for a fact that Lala Move services the customers that you have, right? So in essence, the businesses, the cloud kitchens are our customers, and it is our responsibility to ensure that your customers have a good experience, as good as if they were dining in, or as good as if the new replacement of dining in, so to speak, right? That's the model that we are now looking at. So, it's not just about ensuring that you get the food out, but ensuring that the food arrives in a pristine manner, in a timely manner, to ensure the freshness, to ensure the quality, to protect the customer experience. And that is what will drive customer loyalty, right? With so many food entrepreneurs now, so many cloud kitchens popping out, how do you now make a difference, right? It's not just about the taste of the food anymore. It's about the end-to-end experience. And this is where, you know, platforms like us come in, because we understand that this is an absolute non-negotiable for our food entrepreneurs, because they want to protect the experience of their consumers. So that's number one, experience. Number two, of course, would be costs, right? I touched a little bit about only paying for when you have to deliver an item, but at the same time, you are quite mindful of the economic impact that this pandemic has brought about. So we try to continuously ensure the affordability and protecting the reliability of the services that we provide. And because of that, this allows both Lala Move and our food entrepreneurs to continue to scale up, because the loyalty that this creates from their customers allows for repeat business, allows for referrals. What's the make or break of everything online now, right? With all of the noise for everything online, previously, you try out a restaurant because your friend said that he or she had a fantastic experience, right? Now, as you search for the next food thing that you want to try out online, you look at the reviews, you look at referrals from other people as well. And we know that referrals these days are not just based on the taste of the food, but also the overall experience. And that's very important to help scale up these cloud kitchens and all food businesses.
Yeah, to Dan's point, I think the transactional nature of Lala Move's business is very helpful for entrepreneurs, so they don't have to worry about paying any upfront cost, except for the fact that when they deliver, that's when they pay for it. And also, of course, the experience, right? It might really taste good, but if it doesn't it doesn't arrive to you in the manner, right, that they wanted to present it, then it's not gonna matter, right, to the customer. They of course wanna see the presentation or the plating, right, so to speak,
Exactly.
when it arrives with the customer. So it's good that Lala Move is thoughtful in that sense with that regard. So, Christian, for public house and the larger F&B industry, what innovative food experiences can our food entrepreneurs and creators bring to the virtual space?
Right. Well, there's many. I mean, there's like some innovation that I have observed. Like the community side, like even like DAO and these decentralized autonomous organizations. I'm very excited about like what Pizza DAO or this Ver Pizza did with launching like these NFTs and raising a lot of money. They actually, for last year in Bitcoin Day, like May 22nd, we actually did sell a bunch of. We gave pizza for free. So they created all these like NFTs and like raise awareness about like Bitcoin Day and then the cryptocurrency. So like these sort of like communities, organizations like Metaverse, I think that's a very interesting space that we as public house like want to play around with it. Like we don't know exactly what's happening in that space, to be honest, but we see a lot of like very engaged community like around memberships, around like the experience of NFTs and all this community. The decentralization, I think, is something that is very appealing to me and very appealing to our principals from the Draper Startup House. Frame and Team Draper is very excited and something that he pursues in a lot of his investments. So that's something that I think is very interesting to bring that world into food. That's new marketplaces that are going to start popping up as well. New ways to consume food. I think the real estate space, the food courts, the food halls, like all of that sort of like structure is going to be disrupted. We now drink and eat online with a lot of our friends, right? Like we sit down and have all of these experiences, and now having Lala Move, having like that, concierge sort of like model of delivering to you, and I be able to get the cakes like we did earlier this year with QBO, like everybody blowing on this like nice cake and all of these things. I think all of these like interesting new experiences are changing, right? Like I think it's maybe we're a little bit older, but I think like younger generations, like I see a lot of the younger kids like eating and doing all of these things by themselves in a corner, and but they actually with a lot of friends, right? They have a lot of like online friends. So that community, that sense of that space is something that is be very interesting. Like we're playing around with it, like it's something that is also like very new in terms of like the way that we consume food. But there's definitely like a new space for the food industry to innovate, and that's something that we want to be part of, because I think that's the way that younger generations will start consuming food.
Yeah, I mean, with companies like Facebook wanting to get into the metaverse, right? I think they're renaming it, renaming their name, right? I won't be surprised if Draper will start a metaverse fund very, very soon. So, speaking of funds, more recently, promising startups secured substantial funding from both venture capital firms and angel investors in a race to build cloud kitchens for the Metro Manila market. So, Nadim, what kind of food startups or businesses are investors looking for now? If virtual brands want to expand or scale, what are the qualifications they need to fulfill?
Yeah, that's a great question. I kind of want to build on what Christian and Dennis mentioned previously on community, right? I think nowadays most brands are starting to be built online, and the community piece is something that we look at very closely at DSG, right? If you look at what brings a customer back to that brand, is it taste? Is it the people? Is it how they relate to that brand, right? We invest in insurgent brands in the region, and insurgent brands means a brand that is more relevant to the Southeast Asian consumer, right? So community is a big piece, and what we look at very closely in community are obviously the cohorts and how much you're actually spending on digital marketing spend to get customers to come to you, right? So we look at that ROAS piece very closely, because the brands with the best communities usually obviously have higher ROAS, and they build those communities through Facebook, through pop-up events, through kind of online Zoom, online Zoom channels, or like Discord channels. And Christian mentioned this previously. A lot of our brands, a lot of our CPG brands are actually launching NFT products that allow customers to purchase those NFTs and get 3 months of, I don't know, 10% off their products on their website. So when you're looking at the kind of online brand cloud kitchen space, we are seeing a few themes, and at DSG we do focus on these themes very closely. Sustainable brands. I think sustainable brands are becoming a lot more relevant to the Gen Z millennial consumer, right? If it's not sustainable, then then we won't have it at all. And we've seen that in Salad Stop, right? Salad Stop is one of our kind of best performing brands. We have 3 brands under the Salad Stop Fresh Creation kind of holdco, and we've really expanded our cloud kitchen kind of strategy over the last year because of COVID. So sustainability is definitely one. We've seen a lot of kind of eating on the go concepts coming up, right? If you look at what we did with Burger King in India, we just took them public. People are wanting things a lot more convenient, a lot faster, a lot higher quality. So the eating on the go kind of trend is what we're looking at very closely. So if I were to just mention 3 things, it would mainly be the community piece. How is the community built both offline and online, omni-channel? Sustainable brands that really speak to the customers, and again, fast, convenient, and quality products. Definitely the top 3 things that we look at as investors.
So
Paul,
community, sustainability, and quality. So founders, take note of that, right? Dennis, you want to chime in?
I just wanted to say great points, Nadine, and we should probably connect you with some of our F&B brands, right? Because I can see a lot of those 3 characteristics in many of them. So let's connect.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to do that.
I love that Dennis is still deal making even in a panel discussion.
Oops.
I love it. I love it. So yeah, so we've talked about how the pandemic has brought big changes to how businesses run and what opportunities are available to our food creators and entrepreneurs in the virtual space. Now we look forward to the future. How do we reimagine virtual food experiences? The possibilities are endless, especially with the rise of new technologies such as cryptocurrency, blockchain, and the metaverse. So, the question for everyone: what innovations do you think businesses should explore next, and how can food creators take their food ventures further? Who wants to start?
Paul, can I just jump in and start there?
Go ahead, Nadim.
I think the virtual reality space is incredible and in its very nascent days, right? Again, I think eating together and experiencing F&B and food with your best friends and family offline is definitely something that will continue to stay. But as VR and as kind of AR gets a lot better, you can really experience things from your own home with just a headset, right? Imagine what Facebook's doing now and what that will look like in the next 10 to 20 years, right? Instead of you sitting down with your dad who's all the way in the United States, sitting down over Zoom and having a dinner, you put on a VR headset and it's like your family is right at that dinner table with you, and you can eat whatever is in front of you, regardless of where you are in the world. And we have made some investments in the VR space. Unfortunately, we backed kind of a travel business pre-COVID, obviously, but VR kind of travel experiences is something that we are still very bullish on. But unfortunately, kind of market timing didn't work out for us for that investment. But we do think that the VR experiences for eating, for getting together, for experiencing new brands and new communities is something that will stay and will only get better over the next 10 years.
Awesome. I mean, I just saw my friend Mika Pineda post on Instagram. She went all the way to Hell's Kitchen, where Gordon Ramsay is. And this is weird. She's actually said, I'm not really a fan of Gordon Ramsay unless my sister puts it on. So because it's her birthday, I went there to celebrate her birthday on her behalf by eating the dishes, signature dishes at Hell's Kitchen, and then buying merchandise. So to your point, right, there is something there. Maybe we can experience virtually some of these amazing kitchens, like we just put on VR goggles and we'll be in Hell's Kitchen, right? And then maybe Public House can give us an equivalent of what or the a simulation of what the Hell's Kitchen food is, and we can all dine together with our loved ones or virtually. So right. I mean, I just saw it. So what your Nadim, to your point, it's not crazy. I
Yeah.
just saw my friend post it yesterday. I said, that's crazy. Okay. So anyone else who wants to chime in? Like what other experiences do you think is gonna be happening in the near future for virtual food creators and entrepreneurs?
Yeah,
Maybe I
and
can.
I think just sorry, go ahead, Dan.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Go ahead.
No, because I mean, I was going to reinforce what Nadim was saying, because I think the VR and AR space is something that we also exploring and seeing. I think the way that we prepare and produce food is also changing, right? Like I started seeing like innovations with 3D printing to manufacture food, which was pretty insane to me. Like, right, like the way that we produce food and that kind of like innovations is like very interesting. So I wonder, like down in time, like when we can experience like something like authentic and interesting and different, but like that we can kind of have that consistency, we might start having it by this 3D printer doing sushi, sashimi, and like all of these products, and then we can eat it like around all over the place with our VR sets, and kind of like connect in that sense. So I think the manufacturing, the production of food, like it's also like been very interesting. We've seen like the plant-based space and all of like not everything, like all the things that are bad for sort of like us, for the environment. A lot of those trends is something that is definitely going to be like the future, right? Like the way that we manufacture and like in the non-sustainable ways, like fortunately right now it's changing. Like Bill Gates is one of the major owners of land in the US. Like he's the biggest farmer in the US. So definitely you can see a new tech play coming on that end. But yeah, definitely the way that we experience and that we eat food virtually more sustainable, right? Like that's something that we still need to innovate a bit more. There's obviously like overproduction of plastic that we see everywhere, not just by COVID, but also, but the way that we consume and that we deliver food and that we package it. So there has to be like innovations in that space as well, and we need to be more sustainable. So just some ideas on that end, like the virtual, the way that we produce food, and a bit more sustainable ways to make it and dispose it. Right, food waste management is another like major, big important industry as well for the overall food sector that I don't think we're not paying a lot of attention. It isn't sexy, but it could be very profitable.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes the unsexy stuff are the ones that make a lot of money for everyone, right? So,
Yeah.
Dan, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, speaking of unsexy stuff, the first time I heard about Lala Move, and before I joined here, I've always been a well, I've been in tech industries most of my life, mostly on the consumer business side, which is where the excitement and all the new things happen, right? Who would have thought I would end up in logistics? Because who would think that logistics is even sexy? It's very formal, and it's something that is transactional in nature. But I think that there has been a lot of evolution in that space over the past couple of years. People think that on-demand deliveries are what's disruptive. That was true maybe 5 6 years ago, but these days it's not even just about, because everyone can now do on-demand deliveries, right? So what is the how do you then stand out? How do you then make yourself different, right? And for us, I know that the question is more of how can food entrepreneurs continue to adapt to continue to grow their business in the next couple of years. But for us in logistics, it's really about ensuring that we continue to provide the support that they would need and move even faster than the trends move, right? So for some examples for that would be, last year everyone was all about, okay, let's deliver everything through a motorcycle. Let's deliver everything in 30 minutes or less, right? And then they give a tracking link to the user so that they can monitor everything from order taking all the way to their doorstep, right? But these days it continue every single week, month, as the days progress, right? It continues, the consumers' demands and the businesses' needs continue to evolve, and it is up to us to remain relevant and to adapt. Some examples of that adaptation for delivery companies would be providing flexibility in the types of services that we provide. Previously, it was a one driver to one customer kind of execution. Now you can do multiple stops. Now you can use a motorcycle, a car, an MPV, even a truck if you want to do a virtual Zoom party, right? These are things that are now very flexible. And you'll see as well that even restaurants are now promoting bulk deliveries, do your own, virtual gathering or Zoom spedida or whatever online. And these are things that will continue to grow and evolve over the next couple of years. And it's very hard to predict what's going to happen next, right? But the only thing that businesses and platforms like us can do to remain relevant is to continue to listen to the market, to continue to see where their growing needs are and move fast. And that's the beauty about everyone being in technology now, because technology allows us to move faster. So I think that the food industry will continue to grow, will continue to evolve. We saw cloud kitchens booming. Now we're talking about VR. The opportunities are absolutely endless. But what's nice is that it's built this whole ecosystem where the consumers are in a very good place now because everyone is really trying to adapt to their needs.
Yeah, to your point, Dan, I think I was asked this question, like what kind of startups would be good to support. I think the intersection of food and logistics, I think there's something there, like especially during the lockdown, right? I mean, some
Yeah,
of us can't even get out of our cities, right? And everyone's talking about hyper local groceries. Maybe there is a way you can combine hyper local logistics with food, right? So that we can bring some of these experiences closer to places that are normally they're at the
they're
weird
not
part or the
not in the metro, right? It goes
yeah
both ways. logistics, actually, Paul. So the idea there is to be able to enable all of the suppliers that are outside of the metro to be able to bring the goods in, right? So those would be
Yeah.
the raw materials, the raw goods that we use to prepare all of the food, right? But at the same time, the type of deliveries that are now growing, you'd notice that last year everyone was fixated on Metro Manila, Metro Cebu
Yeah.
only, and now you will see that most, if not all, of these delivery providers have started easing outside. Going into Cavite, going into
Yeah.
Bulacan, um, all the way to Pampanga. So
Yeah.
even for us, that continuous uh, movement to be able to support more people, because now that everything is online, the geographical location that you are in no longer matters, which is why
Yeah.
delivery companies have to adjust, right? Because we need to be able to support that. What will we do if companies like Christian suddenly ask, say, Dan, can you deliver this to Pampanga, right? We have to make it happen,
Yes.
because we need to continue to enable them, and we do,
Yeah.
by the way.
Even I was just talking to Ralph Becker at Clubhouse, right, in one of my Clubhouse rooms, and he was talking about just setting up like a 700 square meter, hydroponic farm, so that so yeah, the logistics will adjust, right, as Dan was explaining, to make it more efficient for to go to the provinces, but at the same time, even the supply chain will probably reconfigure themselves so that you will now have new sources, right? You'll now have like something like urban greens and all these future farms now set up in the provinces, so that people will have now access to better vegetables, fresher vegetables, and maybe even plant-based plant-based burgers. I don't know. So yeah, so I'm seeing it happen. So I'm sure the experience will be very different in the next few years. Dennis, you wanna say something?
Yeah, just a couple of thoughts on that. And Paul, and others that know me, I love talking about the future, right? But we do have to face the stark reality that the Philippines, and I mean this with all the love, as much as possible, but we're still 10, 15 years behind, right, when it comes to embracing and adapting technology. And I promise I will get here to the future part of your question. But when you look at being able to accelerate, I think we still have to focus on enabling and empowering the F&B industry with the basics, right? And at Prosperina, we break that down into three core areas, right? Number one, your online presence, right? Because you'll never get customers if you don't make it easy for them to find you, right? And number two, the second part of the basics, which is payments, right? Making it easy to transact. There's no reason why, as a consumer, that we have to spend 5, 10, 15 minutes negotiating how we're going to pay, right, for food, right? And then the third, thanks to my partners over at Lala Move, right, is logistics, right? Getting your product and service there in a trusted manner, right? So we've got to find ways to rapidly accelerate F&B businesses into those three foundational areas. Otherwise, they can really, it's going to be a hurdle, right, for them to leap forward, right? So one cool thing that we've done at Prosperina to make all that easy is, because traditionally a food and beverage business would have to sign up for all three of those things, right? And let's face it, it's their first time. So with Prosperina, they can sign up with one account, just one, and have access to their online presence, payments, and wonderful delivery and shipping, via Lala Move, right? And so we're doing that to accelerate and help them get into the future, which then when we start talking about the future, just to combine things that Nadine and Christian had mentioned, we've got brands that, in my simple way of saying it, they're doing a great job bringing that experience to the palm and to the kitchen of their potential and existing customers' hands, right? If you look at, Lola Nenas, if you look at Poke Lee Foods, Pok Wang, the famous comedian, right? She's everywhere. You can find her anywhere, right? You look at your phone, she's there on, TikTok, on YouTube, and she's just cooking her things, right, in her unstaged home and kitchen, with her kids and, people running around the house. And customers love that because they really appreciate and value the trust and the connection with the brand, you know. And then beyond bringing, that experience into the home, whether it just be the simple basics of YouTube and TikTok, etc. What will then leapfrog them into dabbling and trying, virtual reality, right? So along those lines, the next big thing, which I think is going to be really interesting, and I'm curious what everybody thinks about this, and you touched on this, Paul, which is the micro fulfillment and cold storage, right? I think when it comes to the future, that's going to be a big potential opportunity, right? Because imagine, e-commerce can help a brand access new markets, new regions. You can get your brand in front of 7,000 islands, right? And millions of people. But how are you going to get that food, right, to the consumer across that entire region, right? That in lies the big, I think, potential, startup and opportunity in the future.
Dennis, you're absolutely right. I think cold chain is something that we're really focused on across a lot of our businesses, right? If you look at our yogurt business in India, I think they've succeeded because of how they've built cold chain across the entire country that didn't really exist 6 years ago. But it's a long slog, right? You need to, as for founders, right? You need to focus on that first, and maybe put product development on the back burner so that you can really build the foundations of the ecosystem, right? Because that leads to success for new brands in the future as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
looking
I
forward
mean,
to seeing all that.
I mean, everyone now knows how important the cold chain is, right? Especially, hey, you need a cold chain to bring the vaccines. Right? Everybody, like, oh yeah, you need a cold chain to actually not only bring food but the vaccine. So I think if we want to have a what they call this a future-proof future, now that we've seen what kind of existential threats we have, no, we not just think about, right. We're almost 20 months into this thing, right? So imagine if we had the cold chain uh, facility in the first place. I think this would have been over earlier, right? So actually, Nadeem, I want to circle back on what you're saying, right? So you are in that position that you can say, hey, maybe founders or startups should focus on this technology, right? So to my question, what are the stuff that you say, hey, I hope it's like RFS, right? What's your request for startup? What do you think startups should be focusing on in the food venture business, right? Aside from, of course, cold chain, which you mentioned.
Yeah, I think we just haven't had the look. If you go to the United States and the UK, and Australia, you go to a Whole Foods, there is so much consumer choice on the shelf, right? And the reason for that is that there are, micro manufacturing facilities in the United States and the UK that can produce new brands at lower MOQs, right? At the moment in Southeast Asia, we don't have that yet, right? Why would a Southeast Asian founder with a manufacturing facility want to build a small brand at a low MOQ if it doesn't cover the costs for his facility? And so what we're seeing is this creation and this growth of these micro manufacturing facilities, right? They cost less and they're able to produce at lower MOQs, with the equipment there. So what we want to see in Southeast Asia over the next kind of 5 to 10 years is this growth in starting new brands, accelerating new brands, right? So the foundations are very clear. You need logistics businesses like Lala Move to get the product to people, and you need micro manufacturing facilities to be able to produce these new brands, or else you're producing globally. But post that, right, you need obviously entrepreneurs who have these ideas that are more relevant to the Southeast Asian consumer. I'll give you a very good example of one of our brands called Kind Cones. It is a plant-based ice cream brand here in Southeast Asia, firstly outlet driven. Southeast Asians are very lactose intolerant, and that was the core of the a core of the story, right? One of the founders was lactose intolerant after she had post pregnancy, and she wanted to build a brand in ice cream that tastes like non-dairy, but didn't affect lactose sensitive people here. And so she's built that community around lactose intolerance, around kind of non-dairy sustainability, etc. And is scaling that up over the next kind of 3 years, right? So I think, again, going back, I know this sounds really repetitive, but community is so important. I think it's the one thing that we look at DSG so closely. If you look at the consumer industry, it's so homogenous. The only thing that differentiates a consumer brand from another consumer brand is content and community, right? How do you push the content there, and what community and tribe do you really focus on? Because once you focus on that tribe, it becomes a word of mouth spread. It becomes aspirational, and people and different communities want to become part of that community. So, micro facilities. Obviously, logistics very important, but community on that third point, and how founders build that community is what we look at very closely.
Yeah, when you think about it, I think Nadim, I think the stage is set, right? Meaning, I remember when I was we founded AsiaPay a few years ago. There was no logistics, there was no
Yeah.
payment. We were still debating what we would use for shopping cart. Good thing
Yeah.
Prosperna's here, Lala Movies here, right? But
Yeah.
to your point, I think micro manufacturing facilities, especially for certain verticals, like who knew you could actually look at a lactose intolerant demographic as your total addressable market. I mean, that's amazing. What's the name of that brand? Can you spell that? I want to
Yeah, it's
research
called
about it.
it's called Kind Cones, KINDKONES. It's the leading plant-based ice cream brand here in Singapore and Malaysia, and it's delicious. Hopefully, we'll get it out to the Philippines soon, so you can try it. But what we've really actually noticed is the beverage industry as well, right? Like there are no micro facilities that can produce canned cocktail beverages or hard seltzer beverages that you find out in the United States. And that's what we're trying to kind of build with our craft beer company here in Singapore, expanding from craft beer into canned cocktail beverages and kind of canned juice beverages as well at lower MOQs.
Hey, Christian, I'm thinking tequila in a can.
Dude, we're working on it, man. We're working on it. I'll hopefully get you some of those products soon.
I actually just personally invested on a company for tequila, actually in that for canned tequila. So it's funny. I'll send you guys the link. But
Is it in Asia? Is it in Asia?
No, in the US.
There
Exactly.
you go. Nadim's
Yeah,
interested.
there we go.
But we're gonna bring it. We're gonna
and
bring
have
it, and I'll
Nadim
talk to you guys.
have Nadim DSG fund it. Bring it to Philippines. Come on, Christian. You can do
There's
it.
so many ways we can help each other out,
Yeah.
Prosperna can help get it out to the world. Nadine can help invest on it, and then Lalamu can help deliver, and all of us can be taste testers. See, the opportunities are endless for this group, you guys. So many collaborations.
Who doesn't love tequila in a can, right?
That's why
I haven't
more
tried
of
it,
these
but
panels.
I know it's very good. Like one of my partners said, like you have to get on because this was we early stage, and we just had the opportunity to invest on it. And I actually showed it to a couple investors here, and it was kind of like out of their scope of investment. But yeah, I'm very excited about it. But going back to what you guys were, I think we just make like logistics sexy, Dan, with the micro fulfillment.
Yeah.
cold storage
Once you
and all
have
of that.
micro manufacturing, that really changes things, right? Because it's like 3D printing food, right, and drinks, right? So great discussion, everyone. This is awesome, but as the adage said, right, all good things must come to an end. So thanks for all your insights, Dennis, Dan, Christian, and Nadim. The future is virtual indeed. I hope our attendees were able to learn how to launch and scale their virtual food ventures through this session. To officially close the session, may we ask Christian for some last words for our panelists and the audience. Christian, take it away.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. Well, I think thank you guys for joining this discussion. I think it's very exciting. I think we should get together, like, again, because I see a couple of like very good business ideas out of this session. Yeah, I hope like this has been inspiring for our audience, and like, food entrepreneurs. Now they know where to start, which doors to knock. We're doing that at Public House, and being your launchpad and satellite, going through cloud kitchens, or the next micro fulfillments that we're gonna all put together across Philippines and Southeast Asia. And so yeah, I hope this was helpful to you guys. I want to thank all of you guys for joining us, and QBO, DOST, and all of the organizers for Philippine Startup Week. Awesome to be around again this year from Draper Startup House. So thank you all for inviting us. And we want to keep contributing to the startup scene here. Obviously, this is an inflection point that we live in right now with COVID, and it's a great opportunity for all of us to launch new ventures and learn about the whole entrepreneurship that a lot of us needs to get us out of this recession, and empower into the next generation of new food ventures. So thank you all, and thanks, Paul. Good job, Nadim. Thank you so much for joining, Dan and Dennis. It was a pleasure, and we'll probably stay online soon, and we'll chat again.
Christian, before you go, since our attendees are all here, maybe you can promote Public House, what it's all about, and how they can reach you.
Yeah, so Public House is the F&B arm of Draper Startup House in Manila. We're based in 5048 P. Burgos in Poblacion. It's an online food incubator. So basically, it's a bridge for the food entrepreneurs to come and trial new things. We have an open kitchen, a shared kitchen. We have a lot of people ready to taste awesome new food menus and ventures, and then bring it online, through like new partnerships and new spaces and marketplaces that we're going to be cooperating with, including obviously Prosperna. We've already been using Lalamove to deliver some of our products. And yeah, I think that the idea and what we're building is, bridging that gaps between the offline online, and be able to scale this either down the line through cloud kitchens, or these, satellite spaces that, get closer to consuming. Nadim mentioned a lot about convenience. That's something that I know. I'm living in China for many years. Also, like, I know how in Asia, the convenience is very important. So yeah, that's something that at Public House, we're excited to launch. We are also based in Singapore at Draper Startup House in Ancient Road. And then I'm actually going back to Latin America, because we're potentially opening this year Chile and Mexico in the same concept, just like this launch pad for food entrepreneurs. So hopefully we'll get some Mexican tacos and then delivered by Lalamove here in the Philippines.
Yes,
Singapore,
please.
right? Or sisig being sold in Colombia.
Taco
Sorry?
night, buddy.
Taco
Yeah.
Tuesdays, bro. With
Come
your
on,
tequila
man.
drink, bro. Come
Well,
on, bro.
now that restrictions are, more like less strict, we can definitely do that.
Yeah.
Like, the kitchen's open.
Just
we can
show
all get
your
together.
card.
And,
Come
yeah.
on, man. Yeah,
And bring some canned tequila as well.
there you go. There you go.
I will.
So thanks, Christian. Thanks, Christian, and everyone who joined. This has been Paul Pajo. Thank you for everyone, especially our attendees, for attending our session. And enjoy the rest of Philippine Startup Week.
Thanks, Paul. Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
Yeah.
guys.
Welcome to Public House. there, my name is Mie, and I'm the founder of Theo and Brom, and we're the makers of the world's first Belgian tablea. That's how we began in 2018 in Ghent, Belgium. We have been based here when we started the brand and started out as a chocolate company. And then because of COVID, we had to pivot and we evolved into what is now a crafts and confections company using our chocolate to make these delicious tablea treats. So it began when I moved here. Of course, I had to uproot myself, and I think that comes with every migration story. So I got married, and my husband's Belgian, and we chose to live here in his home city, Ghent. I do have some background in social media marketing and a little bit of business. So why not try an e-commerce project? So I did that, created a brand. And yeah, it just so happened that it was chocolate because I was thinking of Philippine cacao. I loved tablea when I was growing up. And then I'm living now in a country that's renowned for their chocolates. It's like, why not, merge the best of both worlds, Philippine cacao and then Belgian chocolate making expertise. And that's how the core product of our business and brand was born, because we had to move everything to the Philippines, and I basically can't relocate myself and also not just fly there due to the restrictions in terms of how the pandemic was panning out then. I just really had to be smart in vetting suppliers and vetting the people who would be part of our team. The next biggest challenge is not just getting the right people who could, also carry through your plans and your vision. It's finding the right partners. So logistics is a big chunk of our business as an e-commerce company. And I think the complexity comes because we're an e-commerce business sending out food that's perishable. And I just prefer to do an in-house operation rather than, outright engaging in the usual aggregator platforms such as, I won't mention anymore, but you guys know the aggregator platforms that fulfill food delivery, only because I just believe in a concept where we can create a premium dessert concierge for our customers. And that is the reason why I have been very biased in terms of creating an in-house system where we do our warehouse, our storage, our fulfillment strategy, and then engaging with a logistics partner that could also carry on the branding and the concept of being an end-to-end concierge service for the dessert. Somebody sent us a deck of what Public House offered as, more like a ghost kitchen, virtual kitchen partner. And then we saw in part of the deck, like some of the stuff that we wanted, but not entirely. So we were like, well, we it won't hurt if we ask if we could do this, and this instead, run a pilot and see if we can build something from the ground up and discover if we could pursue a future partnership. And so that thing led to what we have now, a very exciting collaborative arrangement and agreement and partnership with Public House. And so far, since we onboarded with them, I'd say we've been very happy with the entire ground operation of Theo and Brom, because I think many of the companies, especially startups, experience good momentum in the beginning, wherein it's like, wow, sales are pouring in, and then momentum is catching on, customers are happy, there's a virality to the brand and all that, and then you enter into your second and third years like not really knowing what to do with that level of scale, and then the efficiencies on the back end suffer, and then that's how many brands crash and burn because the customers would be like, oh, it's not the same brand like when it was still smaller, and for us, we invested so much so that we could carry the level of scale that we're actually setting out for. And that has been the story of our 2021 year. It's reinvesting what we gained in terms of revenue momentum last year and making sure that, on the back end, operationally, we would be also stepping up to the plate, that we're not just a startup anymore. We're not just a home kitchen anymore. We're a little bit of, a medium-sized dog player, not just a little puppy anymore. And making sure that our customers also feel that improvement as we grow and carry over and create more momentum into the coming years. in the pipeline, we have a new novel product that has never been launched, and it's going to be a collaboration with one of the largest, if not the fastest growing chocolate brands in the Philippines. So as far as that, yeah, that's all I can share for now. And then watch out for that because it's going to be available for the holiday season, the peak of the holiday season, at the start of December.
I'm Jenny Arcegi, and I'm the CEO of Square One Hospitality Concepts. We build F&B and hospitality concepts around Poblacion, and we started during the pandemic, and we're hoping to stay on for a very, very long time. F&B has always been my passion. I've always wanted to meet people and feed them and see how happy they are when it comes to trying the food and drinks that we prepare. And I always felt that humans always needed that connection that they get from seeing each other, being with each other. So like creating concepts in spaces was always one of the things that I found interesting. So Square One actually started during pandemic. We felt that despite of all the challenges and difficulties that were happening during the time, we needed to keep pushing forward in terms of making sure that the industry is still kept alive, because we believe that one day more and more people will be wanting to go out again and would be wanting to see their friends again. And we just wanted to make sure that we were able to create unique concepts that will make them want to stay and hang out and network with each other. We share the same values and beliefs when it comes to F&B. So it's all about supporting the industry and being a food incubator when it comes to talents and creative. So there are so many talented Filipinos, for instance, that just need that space to help them grow. And that was one of the reasons why we felt partnering with Public House would be great, because we also believe that. For Public House, we can definitely host several Sinigang Valley functions. We think that it's a nice space for people to interact, talk to each other, learn about each other's businesses, and then we can serve them food. So that's always something good. You know how us Filipinos, we love to eat, we love to talk about food, and that's always a uniting factor when it comes to people. We have a lot going on for the next couple months. So we're building, as I mentioned earlier, we're building spaces around Poblacion. So you can expect bars, restaurants, even music spaces in the future, hopefully within the next 6 to 12 months. We are also collaborating on different concepts that we'll be launching online. The first one launching this November. All I want to say about that is it's going to be something healthy and delicious. And then, of course, we're also planning other collaborations with home cooks or smaller brands that we'd be launching next year.
Hello guys, welcome to Public House. My name is Cristian Munoz. I'm the founder of Public House in Manila. So we started Public House with the vision of reimagining food consumption across Southeast Asia and Latin America by creating a network of tech-enabled shared kitchens. With Manila as our flagship brand, we aim to showcase virtual brands and innovative food experiences with our premium kitchen space and event space. Public House is not just a cloud kitchen and incubator. It is also a hub for product launches, live streaming, driven by a community of food connoisseurs. If you have a virtual brand, let us at Public House help you launch and scale your business. We hope you enjoy the next sessions of Philippine Startup Week. Hope that you can come to Public House very soon, and we will be launching and creating a lot of like cool new food products here in the Philippines, and we're excited to be part of this entrepreneurial community. Thank you so much, and we'll see you guys very soon. I'll do a quick share of our kitchen. Right now it's late at night, so right now there's no much preparations happening. This is one of our delivery hub spaces here in Manila. Thank you so much, and see you guys very soon.
Your customers have bills to pay, essentials to buy, and services to hire. Make it secure, reliable, and hassle-free for them with PayMaya. PayMaya's payment solutions have you covered because now you can accept all kinds of cashless payments any way you do business, whether it's in-store, delivery, via mobile app, on your website, or even without a website. Plus, you can monitor your business growth on a single dashboard.
Nandoon ka at my lowest. Nung isa-isa na wala mga customers ko. Nung akala ko, pasara na shop ko. You gave me hope when all seemed dark and when I was lost. You encouraged me to look beyond, to go beyond, to focus on my family, friends, and blessings despite it all. Lahat yun, naitawid ko kasi nandyan ka sa tabi ko, nagpapaalala na kaya ko. So ngayon dahil sa'yo, mas matapang na ako to face any challenge. And now I realize what matters most. So thank you. Thank you for being there for me through everything. Nagbago man ang mundo, alam ko, kaya ko na harapin ang araw-araw na walang takot. Kasi you are just right by my side. And I can always count on you. Kaya salamat, ikaw talaga ang BFF ko.
Filipinos have struggled with the most essential facets of life, like health, education, livelihood, managing finances, and many more. Our country needs all the help it can get to manage its burden.
We want to maximize digital technology to provide solutions for real customer pain points. This is how 917 Ventures came to life.
The Philippines' largest corporate venture builder. We ideate, launch, accelerate, and scale new business ideas that have the potential to grow fast. Through our portfolio companies, we empower consumers and businesses to power through and emerge stronger every day, pandemic or not.
Our vision at GCash is finance for all.
Beyond financial services, GCash has become a super live app with over 51 million registered users.
Consulta MD is the largest telehealth company in the Philippines with over 1 million users.
Health Now is an integrator platform that brings health and care to every Filipino in one tap at the comfort of your homes.
With these healthcare solutions, Filipinos now have access to doctors 24/7 and get their medicines delivered on the same day.
And as we all strive to search for safer ways to go about our days, we understand how customers are starting to rely on online grocery shopping for their daily essentials. This is where PureGo comes in.
PureGo has become one of Metro Manila's top-of-mind grocery delivery services, with its best-priced grocery items from trusted brands.
Sparking a difference on ad tech, digital media, and creatives that helps brands create more meaningful connections with their customers by leveraging data and prioritizing the power of insights.
We at Rush offer an out-of-the-box solution that helps businesses start their digital transformation in the most cost-effective manner.
Rush and AdSpark's marketing, loyalty programs, and e-commerce solutions help future-proof businesses, prepare them for the surge of online shopping and transactions, and find their footing in the digital world. 917 Ventures continues to offer innovative solutions with the addition of 2 more portfolio companies. Enkiro, with its suite of artificial intelligence-powered products, and M360 with its multi-channel communication services. Our secret? We innovate for the people, not the prestige. We ideate opportunities, launch solutions, accelerate lives.
We are committed to build more ventures to further accelerate the country's digital transformation.
The future is now. The future is us. We are 917 Ventures.
Multisys Technologies Corporation is your one-stop system provider. We do advanced systems research and development, focus on evolving assets of IT systems, platforms, and software solutions. We show integrated set of programs and solutions that drive businesses nowadays. Backed by our R&D team, we are able to customize solutions according to your business requirements with speed, accuracy, and efficiency. In our efforts to help Filipinos' way of life through digital innovations and transformation, we partnered with IT companies, system contractors, government agencies, big conglomerates, small and medium enterprises, and tech startups as well. We go above and beyond partnerships. It's a teamwork, and we make sure that your business and ours grow together. We find success in every collaboration and establish meaningful connections. That's why we want to partner with you. Here at Multisys, we empower your business. Multisys is a one-stop software company. So instead of you talking to too many integrators, we'll be able to come up with a centralized and automated way of doing things. We have a team that really move like one. So they are really united. So instead of one programmer, one system approach, I think multiple programmers joining force together, they can collaborate easily. We have speed, we have accuracy, we have efficiency. I think that's the secret of the group. That's why companies love to work with us. It will be faster for them. It will be more efficient to develop and deploy a certain system. They are a designer, they are a coder or programmer, they are a systems analyst, they are a quality control expert, and they're a UI and UX expert as well. That skill is not easy to really somehow have in one program. Multisys can really customize the system. We can customize it according to their needs, design for their own and existing process flows. We're all racing against the clock. The priority of Multisys is to elevate the lifestyle of every Filipino by delivering automated, integrated systems to make sure that we can fast-track the operation, processes. I think it's all about how fast can you deliver a certain technology. Speed matters nowadays. Sabi nga sa Tagalog, diba, daig ng maagap ang masipag. That's why we develop futuristic systems. What we do is that we predict the future, we develop, and then the moment that we are partnered with a certain entity, we're able to show them a live system. It's not a PowerPoint presentation. It will be a prototype, it will be a working system. So this will give them an idea how to solve a problem. This will give them an idea to expedite their processes. So not only showing them a vision, but showing them a solution already. We develop end-to-end solutions for 8 industries now. And we would like to automate other industries as well. Currently, we have an end-to-end solution for information technology businesses, okay, ERPs. We have e-government solutions, healthcare, an end-to-end solution for utility, whether you are an electric company, a water utility company, a telco, or a cable utility company. We do also retail, hospitality, academe, and of course, the new one is the banking and finance. Here at Multisys, we empower your business.
There's a reason why for the last 13 years, startups overwhelmingly prefer to build on top of AWS. We have the largest number of services, making it easy for you to take on some of the biggest challenges with the smallest teams. We also have partnerships with the top VCs, accelerators, and incubators around the world, making it easier to secure your next round of funding.
I'm a solution architect with the AWS Head Start program. What we do is we work with startups in the education sector, and we help them build their services on AWS.
So We Power Tech is AWS's diversity and inclusion outreach program. The program is really twofold. One is to increase the number of underrepresented technologists within the industry, and the second is to provide a platform for them to be seen and heard.
If you're wondering how the AWS evangelism team might be able to help your startup, there are many ways. We're technically credible across our entire catalog of products, so we can help you figure out which services might be able to meaningfully impact your business. We also want to help tell your story. So if you're building something cool, we want to know about it and help spread that message to the world. So you might end up on stage at an event like AWS Summit. If you're a startup, you should also definitely check out the AWS Lofts. These are event spaces that are free to anyone with an AWS account. And you can treat them like co-working spaces, but the awesome thing about them is that we also have people like technical evangelists like myself, solutions architects that come and give hands-on technical workshops and sessions to help you learn how to more effectively utilize the AWS products and platforms that you're already building on top of.
We are a dedicated team of people that love startups, that we just want to come and help you with whatever we can, whether it be technical or business focused. We are here to help guide you and make sure that you do have a say in what's going on. We do get your feedback. We do bring that feedback to the service teams. That is what we're here for.
In this photo is a college-educated man in the middle who struggled to find meaningful work in the Philippines to support his growing family. And so when he was presented with the opportunity to work in the US, he took it. And he was separated from his wife and children for 7 years. And finally, after lots of hard work, sweat, tears, prayers, and by God's grace, all of the details worked out so that his family could be reunited again in California. And as I look back at my life, the sacrifices and intentional choices made by my parents were ones that allowed me to have the confidence and the opportunity to dream. And today, my faith and personal identity in Jesus Christ gives me the freedom to dream even bigger. Did you know that 10% of the Filipino population ends up working abroad due to lack of job opportunities here in the Philippines? That translates to thousands of mothers and fathers who are faced with a similar kind of difficult decision that my mom and dad had to make many years ago, either to stay here in the Philippines, unemployed or underemployed, but together with the family, or for one of them to go abroad with the hopes of being able to provide for a better future for the kids. And one of my big dreams is to be part of creating 10 million meaningful careers here in the Philippines in the next 30 years to help eliminate the need for families to make that same difficult decision that my parents had to make. And that's what Dream Bigger Ventures is all about. We are committed to supporting the local entrepreneurship ecosystem here in the Philippines in any way possible, while going deep with select Filipino founders, providing them whole life leadership training, tailored mentorship to help take their business to the next level, and access to values-aligned capital so that these founders can flourish in leading their own lives, their families, and their ventures. If you're a Filipino founder and you want to learn more about the ways Dream Bigger Ventures can support you on your entrepreneurial journey, I invite you to go on our website, fill out the contact form, and we will get back to you within 5 days. I look forward to hearing from you soon.
My name is John Aguilar, and I'm a serial entrepreneur based in Manila, Philippines. I've gathered a formidable cast of business and industry leaders looking to fund and support the country's post-pandemic solutions. Dennis Anthony Uy, co-founder and CEO of Converge ICT Solutions. David Almirol Jr., founder and CEO of Multisys Technologies. Rose Ong, Senior Executive Vice President and COO of Wilcon Depot. Bernard D., Visionary Mayor of Kawayan City, Isabela. And Jay Villarante, Chairman and CEO of 8 Ventures. Our goal is to find and support the new breed of heroes taking on the challenges of a post-pandemic future. Many will try, but only a few will make it to the final pitch.
We know it's not always easy finding passion and purpose. We know sometimes you can feel more overwhelmed than inspired. But we also know that connecting people to jobs that matter really matters to you. And that's why we're here for you. We know you need top talent to build your business, so we connect you to more than 33 million eager job seekers across the region. And we know strong relationships are essential. We speak your language.
Hello JobStreet สวัสดีค่ะ Hello JobStreet
And provide experienced local support. We also know you want powerful data and insights to empower you and make you look smart in front of your boss. We know while hiring is never simple, our innovations and products make it easier. From delivering better value for your investment to standing out from the crowd. We've got you covered. And we know you like results. We're 2 times more successful at placing talent with employers. How do we know all this? We're your hiring expert and the #1 trusted talent partner in Asia. Start hiring with us now. We know you want to.
Here at Open Space Ventures, we believe in investing with active intelligence. We have a singular focus on Southeast Asia, and we invest in tech companies across all the different sectors. The strategy is executed by our diverse and deep regional team, as well as our active operations team. And by harnessing active intelligence, we have worked with our portfolio companies to realize bolder visions and accelerate their progress in a responsible and sustainable way. We find, build, and back game-changing companies, and that's the Open Space way.
If your business isn't online, you need to catch up and fast. PayMongo helps you accept online payments from credit cards and e-wallets, whether you're selling on social media or through your own website or app. Get started with no upfront costs. Sign up for free today. If your business isn't online, you need to catch up and fast. PayMongo helps you accept online payments from credit cards and e-wallets, whether you're selling on social media or through your own website or app. Get started with no upfront costs. Sign up for free today.
UBX's goal is to make banking invisible by using cutting-edge technology and data to make financial services seamlessly integrated into the moments that matter for people. By digitizing financial institutions and their back-office systems to make processes more efficient. By equipping entrepreneurs with the proper tools to run their businesses and empowering them to participate in the global economy. And by leveraging on years of experience in banking and finance, logistics, real estate, and tech services. It is our mission to build safer, faster, and more customer-centric fintech solutions for a more financially inclusive tomorrow. Because at UBX, we include everyone.